Cleaning the stables. If Donald Trump had lost this election, Hillary and her Cold War friends would have been no better. Trump and his capitalist cabinet are in, and the outrage we have not seen in 30 years is not going to be reborn in the next month. Maybe Trump isn't the most dangerous man to be given this power. I happen to think he is. But that's not about politics or political principles. It's about his lack of simple common decency. He is a mean-spirited bully, the loudest drunk in the bar. How he treated his Republican opponents in the primaries was shocking and shameful. I would try to ask my Trumpian friends, would you allow a man like that to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage? But I guess that question was heard as partisan. Like, is it going to rain today? Partisan. Well, it's a done deal now, and there is no gesture or wish or videos of Hollywood celebrities or belief that zombies will awaken and eat the people who made them zombies that's going to make any difference. The time is long past for childish gestures. We all have to grow up in this country and not get stuck in wasting our energy on short-term actions based on anger or ignorance. And that goes for liberals and conservatives. If we wish to act as mature citizens, and I am speaking to conservatives and liberals, we must create an organization that has the purpose of ensuring that our Constitution, and the Bill of Rights even more, has a simple mandate of calling out every action by anyone that is or could be corrupt or impeachable. And we have to make that organization live long past this presidency. This thing has to be brave. It has to point fingers in all directions. And if any of us think that our political sins are being committed by only one party, those people need therapy. This is going to require money and skills and intellectual clarity and perhaps a blood oath. We should target absurd rulings by the past Supreme Courts, which means going back to the 19th century and not just current only in our lifetime. And we have to pressure the present court to overturn them. Also, the schools have to be given a clear mandate, which should be turning students into active citizens. Not 4.0, not Wall Street, and not condemning those who don't pass the false tests we now judge them on to a second lower class like the Brits did. We have to teach how to think with clarity and ensure excellence of mind, agility of mind. Create a resource pool for running the country in the future, which is our grandchildren's present, and we are failing them as miserably as we can. The hardest thing is to keep in our heads that there are 330 million people here, and those who disagree with us are not morons or anything so simple, because that's what they think of us. Both are wrong, and the government and the schools have to teach and adhere to values that we do all agree to, and then we can disagree politically as much as you want. But those values have to be taught. They are not inherited through genetics, and if we don't teach them, we have no binder to create Americans, which at this moment we're not. The basic values of the Enlightenment era brought the individual into prime focus, created the responsibility of government to care for the welfare and prosperity of the individuals who are the sovereign power above the government. They were the ability to rise by merit, opportunity, mobility, and understanding that freedoms come with boundaries. And all of that led to our founding documents. We don't teach any of this. We don't teach that we saved 98% of the human race from punishment and that we allowed for the individual through democracy to be achievable by all. Democrats are as unwilling as Republicans to scrutinize their own sins, and both are drowning in sins, as is the media itself. But if there is a chance, just a chance, that Republican democracy will be more than an anecdote in the future. We have to organize and keep alive an unbiased organization, an outsider with brains and influence and muscle that is for the maintenance of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and get above the partisan hatred we are feeling and attack the problem at the root. All of us are victims of a technology that we love, but has had a terrible invisible effect on us and changed all of the rules of public service, academia. It's recreated the public sphere so that shouters are accommodated and those who speak with reason are not. It is for those who can master the soundbite mentality, which has had a worse effect on our obligation to educate our young than anything else. And when we speak of educating our young, for the first time in history, we behave as if they are an enemy, as if we hate our own children. I asked Sandra Day O'Connor, why did she agree to let money be the entree into the political world? And she said, what's wrong with money? I said, well, it keeps out 98% of Americans who might want to participate in politics. She said, you're wrong. She didn't elaborate. We have a fatal apathy. We are driving down a freeway as we pass a horrible car accident called America, and we think, ooh boy, that's a bad one, but we never think that we could stop because we have some power, some involvement, and we could turn around and make it better. We have a fatal apathy, as in waiting for the first infrastructure catastrophe, a bridge that falls or a dam that breaks and kills far, far too many. What the hell has happened to us? The infrastructure is not a partisan issue. Everyone drives over the bridges. Everyone needs the dams. Everyone hates potholes, not just one side or another. Have we gone nuts? We used to believe that we, the people, were sovereign. Now we believe in our party, damn it, and shut our brains off when we hear a whisper, not from Fox News, but from our souls, that our party is as corrupt, as blinkered, as stupid and patronizing as the other our party. Did anyone hear during the campaign the Democrats address their historic base since 1932, the working man and the unions? You heard only appeals to minorities, to women, to the disabled. What did we do? Kick out the working man? What the hell has happened to us? We don't have faith that Donald Trump is actually going to clean the stables. We don't. He was the first one smart enough to sense the anger in America that both the Republican and Democratic base support had been betrayed by their parties and that their lot had not improved in 40 years. And Trump scooped them all up, but he is not capable of running this revolution. He's going to be drowned in it. So the Trump is not going to clean the stables, but someone must. Members of the House of Representatives or senators should not be allowed to become lobbyists. That seems so simple. Money should not be the requirement for entering the political world, especially the presidential campaigns. A couple of years ago, I personally spoke to all 50 Chief Justices of the state Supreme Courts in Anchorage, Alaska. They agreed at the end of the speech that technology wasn't being broken down into its component parts, and that television itself was a hypnotic and created the billions of dollars for campaigns and politics and pocketed it all as profit. Well, news divisions are obligated to cover the news, not profit from it. You want to run a campaign? Run it in the newspapers or on radio or billboards. But television must cover politics as news. Forget the money they get from treating politics as a product, designing how it's shown, making it entertaining and shallow and stupid, and this year, ridiculous and shameful. I want a constitutional amendment that completely separates money, television, and politics. And there was a sense of the membership that day in Anchorage that all 50 Chief Justices seemed to agree with me. When I was finished, one of the judges got up and said, if you had a tough lawyer, you could win that in this court. We have to reacquire the belief that we, us, people, run this country. We license the networks. We don't sell them. We never sold them. We only licensed them. They must behave as we need, not as they wish for their own profit. We can have a channel for substance of issues. We can have television stop profiting from politics. We can have real debates instead of this mockery we just endured. We can insist that politicians be accountable for their actions, and corporate CEOs, and the banks. We have to send some bad people to jail. We need it. We need it for our spirit. The admissions of General Motors and Wells Fargo alone should have ended in indictments, and some of them for manslaughter, and we should have sent those smug executives to jail. It would have been against the law to do that, which only says that there are some really bad laws. We should begin on dismantling the IRS and its disgraceful bullying, while asking those who are expert or just smart about money to come up with an alternative tax plan that rewards taking a tax burden from the poor and placing it where it deserves. These things, and more, can and should come from a truly independent organization outside of the political process. Because if you're in it just a little, you get slimed. We left the British Empire because we were being slighted and insulted by the English king and Parliament. We are now being slighted and insulted by those who know they will never be pursued, even if they confess to Congress on television. I know it's hard to face our own and call them criminal or bought, but that's what they are. Our own and the other. And the media itself is drowning in fake journalism and lies. Let's have another revolution, people. We have cause, we have the numbers. And if we just awaken from this hypnotic slumber, we'll have outrage and volunteers. But mostly, we have cause, because they have stolen our future and trampled on the American dream. So let's us clean the stables. Thank you. This is Richard Dreyfuss.